Hello and welcome back to the Formula 1 chat. We are here ahead of the Australian Grand Prix to give you our preview and some little predictions at the end of before the Australian Grand Prix. Should be an exciting race, shouldn't it, Harry? Good to have F1 back.
It should. Remember last year, obviously, we had a couple of years we didn't go to Melbourne due to COVID. Back at Melbourne last year, and it was a really good race. Obviously, we saw Max Verstappen retire from that one. Could he do the same, this year?
Well, I guess I have to wait to see our predictions. But yeah, we will touch on that last race in a moment. But I think it's interesting to start with the Australian circuit. Of course, we know the layout is a little bit different from what we saw pre-pandemic. Over the pandemic, since they weren't able to race there, they have made a few adjustments to the layout. Looking back a little bit at last year, do you think the track changes have made it a better spectacle?
100%. Opening up the back end of the circuit just to be one really long straight rather than just a few corners makes it a lot more interesting.
There's more overtaking opportunity.
Although they're probably shortened the DRS zone like they have at every other circuit.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. They ended up
good
scrapping one of the DRS zones, didn't they, for the race? I thought it was overpowering.
They've opened up a few areas of the track as well to make it much better to overtake.
I do feel the track before was a bit too clunky. This seems a lot more flowing, a lot smoother. You get this really nice little swoosh through the corner. We all know that I don't know exact corner names or numbers. I think it's like the 10-11, where you approach it quickly. It used to be that really sharp left-right. That's a bit more of a swooping left-right chicane
zone as well,
going into the end of the lap.
That is the section that is at the end of that big straight that we talked about towards the back end of the circuit.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that just makes a bit more of a spectacle. And then, of course, those final few corners now are a little bit more square to create a bit more action there. So I think the changes did work. I think they've made the track better. And so, a better Melbourne Grand Prix for us all. A look back at Saudi then as well. Obviously, looking at the track, but also looking back at the current Formula 1 season.
Red Bull pretty good.
Well, they're the first point on my list. Red Bull dominance. Will it maintain? I think I just copied that straight from the Saudi preview because Red Bull dominated Bahrain, Red Bull dominated Saudi.
I'll be honest with you, if the car keeps together and Checo and Max just keep it going in a straight line, sorry. But yeah, I think.
Excellent. Yeah. Cheers.
Should I point off now? If they keep going in a straight line, and the car stays awake, then I think they'll win.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Really longed out point there. But yeah, I think we could see Red Bull really dominate this season. I don't think there's many close competitors. Ferrari don't have a lot of pace. Aston Martin, while they're competitive, I wouldn't say they're really challenging the Red Bulls. I think they've clearly got the pace to secure regular podiums, but whether they can actually translate that into a race win, it remains to be seen. I just don't think on race pace they can beat Red Bull. If they get ahead in qualifying, Alonso might pull something out of the bag. But even so, look at last round. Max Verstappen started 15th, Alonso started 2nd, and yet by lap 25, Fernando Alonso was a passenger as Max Verstappen flew around his outside. So I don't really know if Aston can challenge unless it's a Red Bull cock-up.
Yeah, that's the problem. The only reason Red Bull won't get a 1-2 in every single race this season is either the other cars can catch up to them or they cock it up themselves. But you touched on Fernando Alonso there. Look at his performance last year at Melbourne. That he was on that glorious lap that he lost in the final sector due to a hydraulics failure. Those two purple sectors.
Well,
and that was in Alpine.
Potentially, then, if he's got the car under him to be able to compete, he could put the lap together to get a good result here. Whether that can beat Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, I don't know. I just think maybe that Red Bull advantage is too.
I think Alpine Aston Martin will be just looking at that final podium spot. They'll want that to be Alonso every single race this year. So far, it has been Alonso every single race this year.
It has. They tried from him at Saudi. Probably wouldn't have been him at Bahrain had Leclerc not gone pop. But you take advantage of what comes your way.
And it was a brilliant drive for him to get in the fourth anyway.
Yeah.
Brilliant overtakes.
On Charles Leclerc, though, can Ferrari challenge at the front?
No.
Because we've not really seen Leclerc in a race this year. Yes, he did a bit in Bahrain, but they're off the pace, and then his car blew up. And Saudi, he started down the order, didn't he? He started P12.
Yeah, no, but he couldn't even get past. He couldn't because he should have still been able to catch up, in my opinion. I mean, he came 6th, didn't he?
Seventh, I think.
6th, yeah, it was a 6th, 7 behind his teammate as well.
Yeah,
and he spent the whole time like, I don't know what I can do, guys.
There's Red Bull 1-2, Alonso 3rd, and then the Mercedes. Yeah, I don't think Ferrari had a lot of pace, but Australia could be a chance. I just feel what we've seen so far is the Red Bull are rapid on the straights, and Aston have the advantage in the corners. Yeah, Ferrari don't really have an edge on anyone. Their car is just average in both.
And I look at last year in Australia, I mean, they got handed the win because Max's car blew up.
Yeah.
Apart from that, Max looked dominant all weekend, and that kind of gave Leclerc a helping hand there. And then Checo wasn't really on the pace last year, whereas this year it very much looks like both Red Bulls are at their maximum pace.
Yeah, it definitely does. But the third and final point on my list, looking back at the season so far, is why is Australia so vital for McLaren? Now, I think McLaren have to perform here. It's Oscar Piastri's home race. McLaren ran well here last year, if I remember rightly. I think... Did Ricciardo come together with Carlos Sainz?
Probably.
No, that was Imola, wasn't it? Yeah. Carlos just crashed by himself at Melbourne. But I seem to remember them having an alright Grand Prix. You've got Oscar Piastri at his home race, his first home race, and it could be his first chance at points.
Could be his last.
I feel McLaren... They need to pull something together here to get the fans back on side. I feel like a lot of the fans are going, this season's already written off. If they can pull something out of the bag here at Melbourne, then maybe confidence is potentially restored. But I don't know.
It's going to take a good drive from both Piastri and Lando, though.
It is. It's going to take a miracle.
And just to keep the car going the whole race at a decent speed.
Yeah. So what to expect from Australia then? And this is where we'll sort of reflect on last year's race. You mentioned briefly, of course, that Max Verstappen did not reach the end of this race due to a failure. Of course, Carlos Sainz didn't either due to a skill issue. So both Ferrari and Red Bull had a driver out last year. And I think that made it a little less interesting because Charles sort of just pushed stuff up the road, won it, and Perez came home for second.
I think it would have been close between Max and Charles if...
What have you had at the end?
I don't know. I think it would have been close between Max and Charles if Max's car had lasted the whole race.
Likely would have, yeah.
But I think, we saw Perez make some good battles with the Mercedes. I think it was just all around a good race last year, but as I say, I think it was ruined a bit by failures and skill issues. Yeah. So
hopefully we don't see any failures and skill issues this year. Though it obviously is an incredibly difficult race. Australia is incredibly warm, so the temperatures can cause issues, and that's why we tend to see more failures around Australia.
It's a good track. It's a tough track to drive.
Yeah, it is.
I'm doing it on the F1 game, and I struggle with it.
That's every track. I swear you say that every week.
No, I don't.
Bahrain.
I think it's just it asks a lot. It's very high speed in certain areas. It asks a lot of the driver.
I quite like Melbourne on the F1 game.
I love it.
Not that I've played the F1 game since about May. But
fix your game. EA got their filthy mitts on it and ruined it.
Yeah.
I think a good race. I think when we've got a midfield that tight, it's good. They're going to be swapping positions left, right, and centre.
Well, my second point was how this year will pan out, but you've pretty much answered that there. Midfield will be competitive. I think we will probably see a crash.
Probably.
Whether that's at the start, or whether that's at the end, whether that's foreshadowing my predictions, I don't know. But shall we get into predictions then?
Yes.
Already foreshadowing them a moment before we get into them. But yeah, because I think this race, unless you're boring, unless you're going out there, is going to be an easy one to predict. But I'm going out there, obviously. Why wouldn't I be? Where have you hidden your predictions? Why have you got so many notes as well?
I don't know.
Anyway, predictions time. Should we start with pole position? Makes the most sense. We'll go sequential. Pole position, of course, on the Sassy, the qualifying session. Who will be the fastest driver?
Max Verstappen will. What a surprise.
I was expecting an Oscar Piastri there, but
no.
Fair enough.
No, that's not really Oscar.
Obviously not. That's quite obvious.
Max is very quick, and I think he'll just nail it. I think he'll be on pole in Saudi, his car didn't give way.
Great point, well made.
I think he'll be alright.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Red Bull look really strong. Max will likely be very quick, and that's why I've also put him on pole position. I think it's fairly obvious that even if something mental is to happen in the race, qualifying, I can't imagine him having a failure 2 weeks in a row. If not, he's going to boot someone at Red Bull's head in. So Yeah, I think he'll likely come away with pole
But
position.
I think Alonso will be very close to him.
Ooh, so ahead of Perez.
Yeah, I think Alonso will be ahead of Perez.
Interesting thought. First, DNF then.
Now I've gone for Alexander Albon.
Oh, why?
I don't really know. They haven't had a DNF yet this year, Williams. It's gone very well for them.
Is it going to be an issue or a collision?
I think it'll be an issue. I don't see Albon crashing. He's got a bit of awareness about
But what if the other Williams? What if the Williams come together? Williams Civil War.
They won't. That's not going to happen.
The scenes.
But yeah, I think just a failure. Oh yeah, but it'll be one of those where they'll go back to the garage and they'll go, "All right, that happened, but we know how to fix it, and it won't be a problem in the future."
All right, so they're not asked that they're out of the race then.
They probably
fair
will.
enough. Oh yeah, no, probably. My first DNF, Sergio Perez.
Ooh.
Very interesting reason for this. Going into turn 1, Max and Sergio alongside on the grids. I think it only spells carnage. Look at the build up to this. Perez sees an opportunity up the inside, goes for Max Verstappen, wheel comes off. Max just about survives with damage. Max are in the race, Perez out. That's my prediction. Perez first DNF into turn 1, safety cars out, and assuming the lead of the race is Lance Stroll.
Oh my god. Is it going to happen?
Who knows? What's your fastest lap?
Oscar Piastri.
Before we get into that race. What? Well, there's the bias then, isn't it? Oscar Piastri.
No, hear me out.
On what ground?
I did put Alonso, and I realised that Piastri, they say in Formula 1 that your home crowd gives you an extra 10% when you're doing a lap.
So he's going to win the race then, isn't he? If he's 10% quicker every lap.
Well, no, because 10% quicker of the McLaren is not nowhere near the Red Bull.
No, it definitely is. They're about a second off. 10% of what's the lap around Australia? 1 minute 30?
Yeah.
1 minute 20 maybe?
I don't know. He's going to put a good lap to. He might go for a glory lap when he's in 15th.
Yeah, possibly. So you're already predicting that he's going to be washed.
Yeah, that's not a wash.
That is quite washed.
That's not Piastri's fault. He's got a crap car.
Yeah, fast lap. I've gone for Verstappen. He's going to have to recover from that damage. I think he will.
He's going to go very quickly.
I think he's going to go, well, I've got to get back up there now.
He did it from 15th. He can do it from 19th.
With damage. Yeah. So I think he'll be fine. Will he win? Will he recover? Will he be able to pip Lance Stroll to the finish line?
I don't know.
Who's your race winner? What did you think I was asking you for?
No, I think Max will take pole, and I think we'll drive off into the sunset. I've gone Verstappen to win.
I mean, you could go Verstappen every week. I think for this season, seemingly, unless Aston pulls something out of the bag.
I think he'll slap it on pole, and then he'll probably finish the race about 8 seconds ahead of Checo, who will then finish the race about 20 seconds ahead of Alonso.
Yeah, that's for my winner. Lance Stroll is not going to be claiming victory. Max Verstappen couldn't cut through though.
Oh my
Who is
God.
Is it a Mercedes? Is it a Ferrari? No. It's a Spaniard on the top step, back to the top step of Formula 1. Wow. Fernando Alonso, the Melbourne Grand Prix race winner.
That would be something.
Yeah. It would be. I think fans everywhere would be buzzing.
I would be.
And a bit of drama on lap 1 with the Red Bulls, a Fernando Alonso win. What's not to love about my Australian Grand Prix? Of course, none of that is actually going to happen, but if you're looking forward to the Australian Grand Prix and watching Max Verstappen win from pole, then make sure to get those thoughts in the comments below. Keep the conversation going. Love hearing from you guys. In terms of a review, we unfortunately will not have anything out on Monday. No. I hate to say it, guys. It's not our fault. We are not in the country, so we can't record one. But we will have some content out regardless to keep you entertained. That is all from us today, though. As I say, get involved in the comments. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.